Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about the disappearance of Tiphaine Véron. This is a story about a woman who simply vanished while living her dream, and a family that refuses to give up. So let me tell you about Tiphaine. She was 36 years old from the Poitiers area in France. She worked as a teaching assistant for children with special needs, the kind of person who dedicated her life to helping others. Tiphaine had studied art history and was passionate about languages, even teaching herself some Japanese. Her family describes her as thoughtful, creative, and someone who planned everything carefully. In the summer of 2018, Tiphaine was finally taking the trip she'd dreamed about for years, a solo journey to Japan. She'd saved up, done her research, and was incredibly excited. This wasn't just a vacation for her, it was the adventure of a lifetime. Let me walk you through exactly what happened, because the timeline here is crucial. On Friday, July 27, 2018, Tiphaine arrived at Narita Airport near Tokyo. She spent that first night in the city, sharing updates with her family back home. Everything was going according to plan. She was documenting her journey, taking photos, staying in touch, just like any tourist would. The next day, Saturday to July 28th, she took the train to Nikko, a beautiful historic city about 2 hours north of Tokyo. It's exactly the kind of place someone interested in art history would want to explore. Tiphaine checked into a small riverside inn for what was supposed to be a 2-night stay. Now here's something important. There was a typhoon moving through parts of Japan that weekend. That Saturday afternoon and evening, the weather was quite severe. Tiphaine did what any sensible person would do. She stayed inside, but she wasn't just sitting around. She sent photos to her family, including one from the famous Red Shinkyo Bridge. She was excited about exploring more of Nikko once the weather cleared. Sunday, July 29th, 2018. This is the day everything changed. That morning, other guests at the inn saw Tiphaine at breakfast. She seemed perfectly normal, chatting as planning her day. She left the inn around mid-morning with just a small shoulder bag and her phone. Importantly, she left her larger suitcase, her passport, and most of her belongings in her room. This suggests she was planning to return that same day. Her plan was to visit some of the local temples and walking paths around Nikko. The weather had improved, and it was a perfect day for sightseeing. And then, she was gone. Monday morning, July 30th. When the inn staff went to clean her room, they found everything still there. Her suitcase packed, her passport, her belongings. The bed had been made, but clearly Tiphaine had never returned. The inn manager immediately contacted police. From that moment on, there have been no confirmed sightings of Tiphaine Véron, no confirmed digital traces, nothing. Now let me paint a picture of where this happened, because understanding the location is important. Nikko is a popular tourist destination, especially for day trips. It has rivers running through it, forest walking trails, beautiful bridges, and of course those famous shrines and temples. The area around the Daya River has some steep banks, but it also has well-maintained paths that thousands of visitors use safely every year. From the very beginning, Tiphaine's family, especially her brother Damien, refused to just wait and hope. They traveled to Japan, organized searches, met with police, and created an association called Unis pour Tiphaine, United for Tiphaine. They've maintained websites in French, English, and Japanese to share information and reach potential witnesses around the world. But here's where things get complicated. In France, this is being investigated as a case of kidnapping and unlawful confinement. In Japan, however, no criminal investigation was ever opened. Japanese authorities have maintained that Tiphaine likely went for a walk, fell into the river, and drowned. Her family strongly disagrees with this conclusion. This has led to years of international tension. The United Nations Committee on Enforced Disappearances has made multiple formal requests to Japan for more cooperation with French authorities. In fact, just this year in 2025, the UN issued its 5th formal request, asking Japan to share essential case details, including hotel photographs, forensic data, and witness statements that French investigators still haven't received. Let me give you the most recent developments, because this case is far from cold. In July 2024, exactly 6 years after Tiphaine's disappearance, her brother Damien issued an international appeal asking anyone who was in Nikko during those crucial days to check their old photos and videos. In January 2023, the French case was transferred to the specialized Cold Cases Center in Nanterre, which Damien called a relief, because it meant investigations would finally take place with fresh eyes. Most recently, in July 2025, just weeks ago, Damien was back in Japan with new evidence. A phone expert commissioned by the family found something significant. On July 29, 2018, the day Tiphaine was last seen, her phone never registered with cell towers outside of her hotel area. According to this expert, this contradicts the key testimony from the hotel manager who said he saw her leave that morning. There's also been a documentary released this year called L'air mouillé by filmmaker Cécile Juan, who is Tiphaine's childhood friend. It follows Damien and his sister Sybille during their 2022 trip to Japan, showing the lengths this family has gone to in their search for answers. I want to address something here. When covering cases like this, especially for a platform like YouTube, it's important not to speculate about what might have happened. What I can tell you is what the official record shows, what the family is asking for, and how people can help. The Japanese police in Tochigi Prefecture have put out appeals in multiple languages, Japanese, French, English, and Chinese, asking for anyone who is in Nikko between July 27th and July 31st, 2018, to check their photos and videos. They're looking for any images that might show a French woman about 5 feet 5 inches tall, wearing a small patterned beige shorts, light pink shoes, and possibly a blue rain poncho. Even if someone appears just in the background of your vacation photos, it could be crucial. The family's website, findtiphaine.com, has all the details about how to submit information. What makes this case particularly challenging is the cultural differences in how missing person cases are handled. Damien has spoken about how, in Japan, there's sometimes a reluctance to investigate missing persons cases thoroughly, particularly involving foreigners, and due to concerns about damaging tourism or the country's reputation. This has led the family to expand their advocacy beyond just Tiphaine's case. In 2024, they founded the National Association Tiphaine for the Search Abroad at the Missing, basically advocating for better international cooperation in missing persons cases. As we record this in August 2025, Tiphaine Véron remains missing. 7 years have passed since that morning when she left her inn in Nikko. Her family continues to travel to Japan, continues to search, continues to ask questions. The UN continues to pressure Japan for more cooperation. And somewhere out there, someone might have a photo on their phone that could change everything. Before we wrap up, I want to talk briefly about travel safety. Not to scare anyone, but to share some practical tips. When you're traveling alone, especially internationally, simple habits can make a huge difference. Share your daily plans with someone at home. Keep a regular check-in schedule. Save offline maps of where you're staying. Take a photo of the front of your hotel or inn. Keep local emergency numbers saved in your phone. If an area feels deserted or unsafe, trust your instincts and stick to main paths. These aren't meant to limit your adventures. They're meant to help you have them safely, and to help others find you if something goes wrong. So here's what I want to leave you with. If you traveled to Nikko, Japan, between July 27th and July 31st, 2018, please check your photos and videos from that time. Look for shots around the Shinkyo Bridge, the temple complexes, the river paths, even parking areas and crowds. If you see anything that could possibly be relevant, please reach out to the Tochigi Prefectural Police or visit the findtiphaine.com website. 7 years later, Damien Veron still travels to Japan searching for his sister. The UN is still pushing for answers. French investigators are still working the case. This family hasn't given up, and neither should we. What do you think happened to Tiphaine Véron? Have you ever traveled to Nikko around that time? Please share this story. Help keep Tiphaine's case visible. And wherever you are, stay alert in your own community. Someone's sister, someone's daughter, someone's friend is counting on people like us to care enough to pay attention and speak up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.